back to Candy's Classic Game Shrine, everyone. On today's episode of Return to the Third Dimension, we're going to be transported to the grid to take on evil programs in Tron for the Virtual Boy. The grid, a digital frontier. I tried to picture clusters of information as they move through the computer. What do they look like? Ships? Motorcycles? Were the circuits like freeways? I kept dreaming of a world I thought I'd never see, and then one day, I got in. This futuristic homebrew was created by one of the pioneers of the Virtual Boy homebrew scene, Alberto Covarrubias. This was a very early project that was taken on by Alberto and teased in 2000, but then went quiet regarding the game for 8 years. Then, out of seemingly nowhere, Alberto dropped his final version of Tron on May 7, 2008. In Alberto's version of Tron, you'll immediately notice that this game has sound. This was actually the very first homebrew game for the Virtual Boy to offer music and sound. Upon startup, you'll not only be treated with music, but also some eye-catching visuals using Mode 7. Once you start the game, you find yourself on the grid facing off against programs on their light cycles. If any of you have seen the Tron movies, you should be familiar with the goal of the light cycle game and how to defeat the programs. For those of you who don't, or need a reminder, you need to ride your light cycle as quickly and carefully as possible to make the programs crash their light cycles into the laser walls that come out of the back of your light cycle and theirs. As this is going on, you will also need to avoid the programs and your own walls as well. The game has no real ending and works on a high score system. If you sit on the title screen for a while, the top scores will flash on the screen for bragging rights. Unfortunately, that's all you get because there's no save function to save your high scores, but honestly it's not that big of a deal. You start out battling one program and then eventually 3 programs will be added to the grid at once to further complicate your game. It's best played on actual hardware so that you can appreciate the 3D and avoid the graphical artifacts that show up when you're emulating the game. The artifacts are most obvious on the title and intro screens. If you have a flash cart like the Flash Boy Plus or the reprogrammable carts for the cart programmer, you can easily fire it up on a Virtual Boy. Or if you know people in the right circles, you can get the game as a reproduction cart. One thing I feel that would have brought this game to another level was maybe adding first-person levels similar to the scenes in the original Tron movie. Given the Virtual Boy's 3D and virtual reality feel to it, that could have been mind-blowing. With that said, I say this as someone that doesn't code, so I have no idea how much more difficult that would have been. The game as it is simple and fun, but the AI is predictable. If you just stay on your corner for the most part, you'll be fine. Later on, the blocks become more of an issue than the AI players, to be honest. Despite its flaws, I appreciate Alberto's work and everything that has gone into this game to make it as polished as it is. I would definitely recommend people try this one if they can. So that was my review of Tron for the Virtual Boy. Let me know what you guys thought of the game and the video in the comments below. And until next time, guys, take care. And now it's time to give it up to my Patreon supporters. Barclay Crazy, Chipper Angeles Negrit, Joyful Sworn, Michael Carter, Robbie Martine McEvoy, Steve Marlowe, and the SideQuest Gamer. Thank you guys so much for all your support. You guys rock. If anyone else would like to become a Patreon supporter of mine, the link's in the description below.